Without going into a lot of details about my personal life, I just don't find bar stools as comfortable as I used to find them. So it's just going to be hard to say CSX without it sounding like you're saying. I think that may be part of their marketing strategy. CSX.
Smith Wesson's new CSX.
Yeah. And it is CSXE. If you've ever shopped, shotted, or hunted with us.
I think we're gonna have
Did I say that?
Yeah, I think we're
Shop, shotted, or okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, no, let's go ahead. We don't sell grammar here. We sell guns.
You think they correct our grammar now?
Yeah. Wow. You know how hard it was to not say shotted again? It was so in my head at that point. Yeah, I saw his comment on one of them. Hello, I'm Larry, and this is Carter's Country. Today, Justin and I are going to go through and talk about a new offering from Smith Wesson. It's the Smith Wesson CSX. You know, when you say we've got a compact 9 that has 10 to 12 round capacities, every major gun maker, it seems like, in the past couple of years has come out with that. So you think, okay, why another one? If you notice this little hammer here, that's the first indication that this one's different. Let's go through this one a little bit, talk about it. It's new, which is good enough for me to get my attention on a gun. But the fact that it right now is unique also makes it a very interesting offering from Smith & Wesson.
Definitely. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, we've talked about so many micro 9s, subcompact 9s over the past, I mean, essentially 12 months, especially here on YouTube. It's pretty impressive what all is now hitting the market. I think everybody wants to now be competitive in the market in that game.
Yeah, and I think, you know, and we're not going to get a chance to shoot this one today.
I was a little bit sad about that.
Yeah, that kind of, you know, I don't know why couldn't get that happen. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a lot more fun when we can actually shoot one of these, and hopefully in a future video we will. But I know you've heard me and probably other people I'm shooting with in some of those videos say that it shoots like a bigger gun. You know, that's something a lot of the micro 9s that they really got right when they expanded the magazine capacity. They made it feel like a bigger gun. Haven't shot this yet, but just holding it, it feels like a bigger gun in your hand.
Well, I think the aluminum, I mean, the frame is going to be what's going to make it feel so much better.
Yeah, and that's
especially for the micro size.
And that's one of the unique features of the gun. It's not just that it's hammer fired in single action. You've got an aluminum frame here, and it does, I think, play into having it a different feel. And it weighs about the same as the other micro 9, so it's not that it feels that way just because it's heavier. It's just the way the gun is shaped, constructed. It gives you an option that wasn't out there before. If you didn't want to carry the 1911 style, but you're comfortable with single action, carrying it, you know, hammerback safety on, then this gives you an option that you didn't have until this gun came out.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in the compact world, especially for Smith & Wesson, it's the first time we're going to see a 10-round, 12-round solution in a gun for them that's compact, right? I mean,
right. I mean,
I don't know of anything else out there that fits in that field right now.
Right, not in this size. I mean, Smith & Wesson did come out with a Shield Plus. It's going to be a little bit different, you know, size-wise. I'm going to go ahead and pick the gun up and just talk about a couple of things here that are features on it, and then you can kind of talk about some of the accessories that come with it and options that gives you. The safety is ambidextrous, so you've got it on either side, left or right-handed shooter. Unlike any other single action that I've ever seen, you can actually rack the slide with the safety on.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and what it does, you know, depending on how comfortable you are with the firearm, when you rack the slide with the magazine in, obviously you're putting a round in the chamber. In a gun that doesn't allow you to have the safety on when you rack the slide, you now have a live round in there and a hammer back. And until you go and activate the safety, you've got what you would call a hot gun in your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a small window of time there, and if you do the job of educating yourself with your gun and firearm safety, it's not really a problem. Being able to rack the slide with the safety on kind of closes that one small window that may make some people uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I mean, if as well with their EZ model, I mean, you've seen that before, that they have the ambidextrous safety on.
Right, and the slide to the EZ, this slide is not hard to rack at all. No, they've engineered it, and
that was actually a cool feature that I noticed when we were playing with it earlier.
Yeah.
So
one other thing with a nod to safety, besides just having the safety on when you rack the slide, you've got the integrated trigger safety there, which basically means it's going to prevent something like a drop fire, you know, with a hammerback, you're worried about that. That's one other thing. Until this part of the trigger is depressed, the trigger's not active. It's a dead trigger. So it's, you know, obviously they were aware of safety concerns, which all gun makers are all the time, but they took us a couple of steps here for someone that may be on the fence about carrying single action. They took a couple steps here to make people feel a little bit better about it. But ultimately, like I said, any firearm you buy, you've got to get comfortable with it. You've got to educate yourself about it before you even think about shooting it. Now let's talk about a couple of the extras that Smith & Wesson puts in the box for you to further expand some of the options on it.
Something kind of new and exciting and a little bit different for Smith is this extra grip. So that's nice, especially to get a little bit of different feel, depending on your hand size and everything like that. It's just another option. Having extras and freebies we all love. Here's your extra magazine for your 12 rounds. So 10's in here, and then your extra is going to give you a little bit more length on there, but you got 2 extra rounds in there. And then one of the neater features that they've provided with this model is ambidextrous magazine release, excuse me. So you're able to basically take that one out, flip it over, and so if you're left-handed, release on the other side. So the gun is effectively a fully ambidextrous gun.
Right, and that's a simple process to do. It's not like you need to be a gunsmith or anything like that.
Yeah, it seems to be fairly simple.
Yeah, the full instructions are in the manual. You did mention the grip, changing the palm swell back here to adjust the fit. Another thing I like about this gun, with the aluminum frame, if you've ever carried a gun against your skin that has a little bit too much of a grip texture, by the end of the day, it's pretty irritating.
It's worn a hole in you.
Yeah, the aluminum frame and the grip texture you have here, to me, my personal preference, is just right. It gives you the grip you need, but at the same time, you're not going to look like you've got a rash where you've been carrying it all day. So that's another good thing about it.
I'm also fascinated to see, we've heard a lot about the glare, the new glare feature. So the new grooves in the slide are supposed to remove the glare while you're shooting outside. So that's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out on the range.
And it's another attention to detail. You know, that it's not a revolutionary gun by any measure, but they took, you know, a basic concept, and then they did everything they could to add little things to it that you will appreciate, without it being an expensive, you know, optional feature or anything like that. They put
the Smith & Wesson name on it. I think they really.
That's a great point. I think Smith's taking a first step in what little adjustments can we make to give people yet another option that is, you know, first and foremost will keep you and your family safe should you ever need it, but also can be fun to shoot. It's a gun you can be comfortable with, and I hate to keep going back to this, but for me, it's not real hard to make me want to buy a gun. You can ask my wife, but for me, it's just enough to be unique. But it's got enough of the things that I want to still make me comfortable. It's the right caliber, it's the right capacity. It's a Smith & Wesson. I already own a couple.
Great size.
It's a small step, but it's a good step, and I think they didn't just rush to get something out to call it new and different. They did it right.
I think, I mean, and then if you look at what Smith & Wesson does well, this embodies what they are. I mean, if you put that up against all the other Micro 9s on the market, you're going to see that that's exactly their gun. I mean, you can tell their guns as a separate, because they tend to just do their thing and stay in their lane, and they're great guns.
Yeah, I mean, they did it with the Shield series. You know, they had the Shield. That was a winner. Then they came out with the Shield 2.0, the Shield EZ, the Shield Plus.
Everything that they put on the market is a winner. Right. It's if you look at really how their name carries a lot of weight, the guns themselves carry a lot of weight, that just across the board. I mean, and we sell a lot of them. I mean, everything we do with them does a fine job.
Right. So, to me, when you talk about the major gun makers that have the good reputation, they've earned that over a long period of time. And gun buyers and shooters can be a pretty demanding and a fairly picky audience to try to serve things to. And so they're not going to put it out there unless they feel good about it. And to your point, they didn't rush this out when all the other Micro 9s were coming out. They took their time. They made subtle changes. and I don't know how much market research they did, how many different people they talked to before they came out with this, but they've got a real nice package here that's, to my knowledge, a one-of-a-kind in a single-action, high-capacity carry gun.
Yeah, I think they did a great job on it.
Yeah, and hopefully the next time you see this gun in one of our videos, it will be with us out on that range shooting it.
I'm excited. That's what I'm most. I want to just see how it shoots.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, getting paid while shooting a gun has been my dream job since probably the first gun I ever shot when I was 10 years old.
So that's about all you do around here.
Well,
get paid to just hang out.
Well, and I'm good at it. I mean, I hang out like no other.
You do a good job of that.
I do. I make sure nobody gets too comfortable. I mean,
you're the comfortable one, right?
Yeah. That's what else matters. All right. Well, Justin, this is our first video we've done in 2022. It's good to be back here doing this. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. It's been a long start of the year.
That's right. It sure has. All right. Remember, folks, if you've ever shopped, shot, or hunted with us, you're already a part of the Carter's Country family. Until next time, adios.